Hi everyone, we're starting a new lesson today and a new topic. It's 9.14 expressions and substitution. So we're going to be looking at function machines and manipulating algebra. So first of all, we've got our hello at the top, and if you can pause the video and spend 7 minutes working through this starter task. Okay, so here we go. So the decimals, what they want you to do is they want you to notice that we can add another place value. As you see, this 6.7 only has one number after the decimal point. This has two, so that's where the confusion can crop in. So I would do my column method and just do it like that. For find the perimeter of the shape, again, some of the lengths haven't been included. So if we know this length here is 10 and this is 4, then this part here must add to the 4 to give us the full 10. So it's 6. And then we've got 13 here. We know that this part here is 3. So this bit here must be 10. And then we just add them all up. To calculate the area of a trapezium, well, we know the equation for that is the top length, which is 8 meters, added to the 12 meters. Then divide that by 2. So 8 plus 12, so it's 20, divided by 2 gives us 10. Then we times that by the height. So we get 50 meters squared. Then for increase 890 by 20%. So if we say that 890 is 100%, divide that by 10 and we can get 10% is 89. So then we do 2 lots of that, 178, and it says that we're increasing it by 20%. So we have to do the 890 added to the 178. So you can pause the video now and make sure that you've got these solutions copied down on your retrieval task for all of these. Give yourself a mark out of 6 as well. So here is the sort of subsections for this topic. First, we're going to be starting on the function machines. So let's get started with that. Okay, so the first example, we want to form an expression for b using the input a. So on our function machines, we input a. We input this value here, which we don't know yet. Our variable is a, and our output is going to be b. So first of all, what we do is we times by 7. So if we look to our success criteria, apply the first operation to the input variable. If it's a times 7, then we can just write that as 7a. So it's 7 times by a, so 7a. Then we move on to our next operation, which is add 6. So then we're going to add to our first term, 7a, we're going to add 6. And that then gives us our output, which is b. So we say that a times by 7 plus 6 gives us b. And there you go, you've formed an expression now. This here is your expression. So pause the video now and write down your expression for b. Give yourselves 30 seconds to do that. Okay, so we start with a. We're doing 5 times a. So 5 times a. Okay, and then we're adding 4. So our expression is 5a plus 4. And when we know what a is, we'll plug that into there and that will tell us what b is. Give yourselves the mark if you got that right. Okay, on to our next one. So now we've got, first of all, a divided by 7. We're still forming an expression for b using the input a. So a divided by 7, I'm going to leave that as a fraction, so I'm going to have a over 7. That keeps them nicely together. And I know that the 7 is dividing the a. And then we need to do the second operation, which is add 6. And there we go. So now you can see that I'm dividing my a by 7 first of all, and then I'm adding the 6. The order is very important when it comes to division. Okay. So pause the video and give yourselves 30 seconds to try and solve the we do. Use the success criteria if you need. Okay, so again, I'm going to say a divided by 5. I'm going to leave that as a fraction. And then we're adding 4. So there we go. So there's your answer. That's your expression for B. Okay, so on to the next one. So now we're going to utilize brackets now. So the first thing we've done is we've got our A, we've input it, and we've added 6. So our next operation now is going to be divide by 7. But if we have a look to our success criteria at the bottom, first of all, we apply the first operation to the input variable. Then we apply the second operation to the expression we got in part 1. So this is what we mean by part 1, the first piece of the success criteria. So the expression that we got from our first operation is this A plus 6. We then want to divide all of that by 7. Because we're not just applying the divide by 7 to A anymore. We're dividing it. We are applying it to the input variable and the plus 6. Oh. So I can write this now as A plus 6 all divided by 7. So that would be my expression. So pause the video now and give yourselves 30 seconds trying to solve this we do. Okay, so we apply our first operation, the A plus 4. Then we're dividing by 5 with the second operation, second function in this machine. And then we can write that as A plus 4, so we can write this as a fraction, all divided by 5. Give yourselves a mark if you got that right. Okay, so now we're looking at a different format of question. So now we want to complete the function machine to using the expression given for B. So now we're given this equation here, so we can see that we've ended up with our output B. We've put A into the input machine, so as we can see the A's here. But what order has this happened in? So as we can see, we've got our brackets. So the first thing that's happening is our A is being added to 6. You can see that inside. So we're going to add 6. And then, because we have the brackets around the A plus 6, then that's being times by 7. So then we're timesing by 7. And you can even do your little practice. Does it make sense? So you can go backward and try it. So we've got A plus 6. Yep. And then we're going to times by 7, which is the same as just saying 7A plus 6. And that is what we were given. So it works. So now pause the video and try and solve this fourth we do. Give yourselves 45 seconds to do that. Okay, so again, the thing that is done first is A is added to 4. So we look at, right, our input value is A, so look for the A. We find it in the brackets here. It's been added to 4. So that's what's happening first, and then the whole expression, that A plus 4, is then being multiplied by 5. So I'll give yourselves the mark if you got that right. Right, so now we can see that our function machine has 3 operations, 3 functions. So complete the function machine to using the expression given for B. So what happens to our input value first? What happens to our A? So I can see it's being subtracted, 6 is being subtracted from it. Then I can see that it's being times by 7. And then I can see that it's also all over a fraction. it's all the numerator of a fraction, and the denominator of that is 10. So that tells me that it's also being divided by 10. Again, you can do a little sense test, see if it works. So pause the video now, and I think we're on the 5th. Give yourselves 45 seconds to try and solve this we do. So again, essentially for these types of questions, my success criteria or my steps would be, right, I found out that my input value is A. Look for that A, it's in the brackets. What's the first thing that happens to it? So I can see that with my order of operations, I do what's in the brackets first. So first of all, it's having 4 subtracted from it. Then I can see that it's being multiplied by 5. And then I can see, because the denominator is 9, it's being divided by 9. So give yourselves the mark if you got that right. Great work on this, guys. Okay, so now we have our function machines that have 3 functions or 3 operations in them. But now it wants us to form an expression for B using the input A. Simplify your expression where possible. So we start off with our A. We're then adding 6 to it. It's then being times by 7. And then we are subtracting 10. So done them all in the correct order. But now the question wants us to express these and simplify these, where possible. So we can simplify this. So you would have got your mark for doing this first of all. But then we need to simplify it further. So the way that we can do that is we can expand these brackets. So we can do 7 times by A, which gives me 7 times 7 lots of A. I've then also got to do positive 7 times by positive 6, which is going to give me positive 42. And now I have some like terms that I can collect. So as you can see, we have the positive 42 and negative 10. So they can be collected together to give us 7A plus 32. So pause the video now and give yourselves a minute on this one. So try and not make any mistakes. Try and simplify where possible if you can. So give the we do a go now. Okay, so we have A as our input value. The first function is add 4. Then we multiply all of that by 5. Then we subtract 9 from all of it. So we're going to have to expand the brackets first. So we're going to get 5 times by A, 5 lots of A. Then we're going to have to multiply 5 by 4. So we're going to get positive 20. And we've still got our subtract 9. So the 5A stays as it is. And then we have positive 20, take away 9. So that's going to leave us with positive 11. Again, give yourselves the mark if you got that right. We've got 2 more sets of questions, then some problems for you to work for on your own. So really well done if you're flying through this. Okay, so again, form an expression for A using the output B. Okay, so this is another quite interesting turn that it's taken. So these type of examples, now that we've reached question number 7, want us to form an expression for A, and that's why they've underlined it. So if we want an expression for A, we're not going to work from the input now to the output. We're going to be working in the opposite direction. So if we have our output B, so we're going to start with B. Now if we have a look, it's hard to see, but there are little arrows that say if you subtract 10, it takes you to B. So now we have to work with the inverses. So first of all, to go back through our function machine, instead of subtracting 10, we've got add 10. So B add 10. then what we need to do is go backwards here. So we're not timesing by 7, we're going to divide by 7. And then once again, we're moving backwards again. And instead of dividing by 6, we are going to times by 6. So now we've got to be able to simplify. So on the top we can expand. So we can do 6 times by b, gives me 6 lots of b. Then we're going to do positive 6 times by positive 10. So it's going to give me positive 60 all over 7. So remember with these now, so when you're working backwards, you're going to use the inverse operation. So if you're subtracting 9, you're going to do the opposite of that, which is to add 9. So there's a little start for you that I've helped you with. Pause the video now and give yourselves a minute to try and solve this redo. Okay, so again now we are wanting an expression for a. So we want our final ending place to be a. So starting at b. Now what we're doing first of all is we're doing the inverse of subtract 9. So we're going to be adding 9. We're then doing the inverse of multiply by 5. So we're going to be dividing that whole expression that we've got up to now by 5. And then we are going to be doing the inverse of divide by 4. So we're going to be timesing by 4. Now again, we can expand the top. So because they've asked for an expression, I'm just going to get rid of that equals sign. I know I'll put one over here as well. So they are equal to one another, but we want an expression really. So I guess that would be the expression. So we do 4 times by b. So we're going to get 4 lots of b. Then we're going to do 4 times by 9, which is going to give us positive 36. And then everything that you see there is divided by 5. So there is your expression for a. So if you have a value of b, if you're given a value of b, you can put it into this expression and you will find out what the a is. So give yourselves a mark if you got that right, guys. Moving on to the last one now. So you may have to squint at these, they are a bit little. So now we need you to select the correct expression for b using the input a. So I can look at this and say, okay, so the first thing that's happening to a is it's being divided by 6. So I'm going to do it up. Where should I do it? I'm going to do it up here. So we've got a over 6. Then we're adding 7 to everything there. So this whole thing here is being added to 7. And then what's happening after that is we are subtracting 10. So the plus 7 subtract 10, we can simplify that. So all of this gives us our output b. But I'm just going to simplify it. So 1 point equals, right, so the a over 6 stays as it is. Plus 7 subtract 10 is going to take me down to negative 3. So I can see that is there, d. So pause the video now, and on this final redo, give yourselves 45 seconds to work through this. You've done really well today, guys. You've had a lot of examples to work through here, and there's been plenty of variety. It's setting us up really well for the rest of the topic. Okay, I'll just put a little divider here so we don't get confused. So our input is a, and it's being divided by 4. Leave that as a fraction. We're then adding 5 to everything. Don't put it on the top of this fraction because it's being added to the a over 4, not just the a. Then we are subtracting 9. So again, the a over 4 can stay as it is. Plus 5 subtract 9 is going to leave us with negative 4. So we get a over 4 minus 4. And if you did get any of the other examples on here, guys, they are trying to trip you up. Like, as I said here, the a plus 5 has been added to the fraction there, when in reality it should be the plus 5 is being added to a over 4. So they are trying to trip you up there. So now we'll move on to the practice examples. So again, make sure you're careful to read the questions, and make sure if you're stuck or you are a little bit unconfident with this, that you refer to the success criteria. So pause the video and give yourselves 5 minutes trying to work through these. And once again, pause the video, guys, and give yourselves another 5 minutes working through these. And then I'll show you the answers for both slides. And final 2. So just give yourselves, you might need less, but give yourselves 2 minutes. And here we go. So this would be the expression. When we put equal equals b, it then becomes a formula because we have 2 variables and an equals sign. So if you've just put 7a plus 3, then you can give yourselves the mark for that. If you've put just a over 7 plus 3, you can give yourselves the mark for that. So there's the first 5 problems with the answers. And here we go. There are the other 5. So give yourselves a mark out of 10, guys. And just a reminder, if you are learning this topic before the 26th of April, that is when our assessment week is coming up, and we're going to get a feel for how everyone's doing and where they're up to. Great work today, guys. Make sure you send through your work to your teacher, whether that's through email or completing a Google form. Make sure you go onto your Hegarty and check if you have any new tasks, or if you have any tasks still to be completed, or if you really just want to practice some of the skills that you did today. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.